back, everybody, to another day of some Marvel Rivals action for the PIEA Tournament Series. We have Central Bucks South coming back here against Ferndale in this best of 3 series. Always starting things off. We're in week 5, so we're starting things off with a domination map heaven, and we are looking towards, what's going to happen here as we are nearing the end of the regular season. Next week is the last week, so the next little bit of points is very important for both of these high schools.
That's certainly where we do reach the final stretch within this marathon. Find their way striding through the postseason. We'll see who will inevitably be able to find their marks. Those 1 and 2 seeds, so important to be able to show dominance within the PIEA, as we are going to be getting on into the match sooner rather than later. We look towards these picks and ban phases to take these teams to the next level when it comes to these current game ones. I mean, this is the tone setter, Mott, and this is really where these two teams are going to have to kind of find how they want to approach this game.
Absolutely, and you are seeing, you may be wondering, hey, why is there only 5 on one roster, 6 on the other? Central Bucks South will be playing a 5v6 first, waiting on their 6th player who will be able to connect in that second round. So they might be playing at a disadvantage, but they still have that first ban coming in the way of the Iron Fist, a character who has been really prominent as of late, especially with the introduction of Daredevil, whom you see Snapthorn already hovering over. On the other end of things, Ferndale has opted to ban out Hela and also protect Doctor Strange. So very strong 2 picks, I will say here. So with that being said, it comes back to Central Bucks South's own pick here, and they have a couple of different options. Jeff has been very strong. Rocket Raccoon also strong in that back line. You can always default back over to your Luna Snows, to your Invisible Women's as well. Talk about strategists, but instead, we go over to the Duelist, and we're going to actually opt to take our own Iron Man for this race. Will it maybe come into fruition for Central Bucks South to continue playing a flyer composition?
We will be seeing that 5v6, as you had mentioned earlier. However, Mott, I'm not sure whether or not this will be as cut and dry as one would expect in such a differential, as Central Bucks South, currently within the Penn Conference, standing at a strong 4-0 standings. Meanwhile, their opposition Ferndale's had a little bit of a tougher time making their way through the fall season of the 2025 school year, as they are currently standing at a 1-2 scoreline, barely clinching a spot as the number 4 seed within the fall conference. But I mean, we are still going to be seeing them take that opposition down to the depths of our first map, as they take a bit of an advantage to start us off, and this is where they really do have to open this series up exploding in confidence.
Also, on top of that, we have the Black Panther ban here. Of course, very much warranted if you know that the other team may have a Black Panther that is a little more to deal with than you really want to, right? On that note, we are protecting the Magneto, so Meteor M is online here. You also just have a Vanguard who is so consistent, so strong, and all around a really good Vanguard to play with and into. So I'm very not surprised to see Magneto be protected here from the side of Ferndale High School. Coming in on the opposing end here, the Jeff, as I had predicted, will be protected, and I like to call we call the Animal Crossing backline. You can call it the Zootopia backline. The Jeff and Rocket might actually be the backline of choice from either of these teams. But on that note, Angela, my beautiful warrior, is no longer in the fray, so Astro will have to find somebody else to play here in that Vanguard role, as she is going to be banned out for this round specifically. And you know what? Why not take the other flyer out of the fray? Storm not going to make an appearance either, mitigating that Jeff NATO team up as well.
We are going to be seeing, as the picks coming through, Arteme locking in the Jeff. We know this player certainly has taken a bit of a stride through the PIEA, as they've been known for their Overwatch gameplay. I'm sure we both are aware the kind of differences aren't too big in a game like Overwatch compared to Marvel Rivals. So seeing Arteme moving over from that hit scan position that they have been so prevalent on onto a bit of a supporting cast role, we are going to be looking towards their ultimates being that kind of kill factor to be able to grab 5 and maybe even get a little bit of off the edge kill towards Ferndale. Certainly would be rough, but as CB South makes their marks, we look towards this composition, and I want to get your thoughts. Do you think this is a comp that will be able to thrive in a 5v6, or is this more so something that kind of holds steady and is more opting into an idea that will allow you to win long, drawn-out fights?
What I'm worried about is, again, numbers-wise, it's not fun to play automatically down 1, right? So automatically, even though this comp is trying to play characters that can play relatively separated from each other, Loki can combine himself, Thunder Strange will be assisted by that Jeff, of course, with that speed boost coming in from Arteme. But Snapthorn can kind of fly around, find health packs, and get early picks with the Gamma Beam as well. Ideally onto your Cloak and Dagger, onto the opposing Jeff, right? But I think the survivability of this Captain America, of this map is fantastic, and even the Bucky, kind of a beefy one in of itself, might be a little bit more bite than, or chew that Central Buck South cannot take. But as I say that, it will actually be Central Buck South, despite going in at 5v6. They've turned it around in a 5v4, and now everyone else from Ferndale are now going down for the count so quickly.
Arteme working in unison with the Quickster, going on through. It's CB South, an already dominant position being held as Ferndale starting to crumble. It leaves CB South with a bit of an aggressive stance, but they have not capped the point yet, so they still do have to get that. So far, wasting this time, just biding their time, playing with their food a little bit as we look towards the Quicksters, still taking an aggressive hand, making that stagger go their way.
100%. And with that being said, you're going to continue to play into the front line here, taking down so many people before they can even walk out of the spawn. They're forcing a lot of staggered fights that they just really can't handle right now. And again, Central Buck South taking it with grace. Ferndale now opting to go back in the spawn room, and they gotta find some way to break through. It's gonna be the Thor swap first that comes out from Madek.
They're already being the pillar of the keystone to play behind as Ferndale trying to get aggressive. However, just the poke damage. CB South unconceding. Domination has been the name of the game, and we look towards Snapthorn charging up, looking to possibly get some vitality on their opposition as everyone getting into the heights, keeping it going as it will be Arteme. Spitting out two, they drop them into the hands of the Quickster, finding one. Arteme gets the second. Shaq and Kobe are on the battlefield, as it will be Lehman to fall next. It's a double from Arteme going in. The Quickster can find two of their own. Fireball as well, gonna bring it down as Central Buck South takes a big claim.
Very nicely done as well, and they've already built up pretty much a good 3 ult bank here of the Iwakamoto, the impeccable like pulsar cannon, as well as the duplication from the Loki, right? So Blaze has the opportunity to just kind of use that Jeff duplicate here, get another Jeff online. But as I say that, return the corner, it's gonna be the portal coming down from Ferndale, and this could be ideally a big one, but the Eye of Akamoto completely shuts down that opportunity from Ferndale to make it to bring it back. And even more so, the Comic Revival was an attempt but did not come to fruition.
Snapthorn with a triple kill, hitting the nail in the coffin on the Ferndale roster. CB South will find this game one in complete succession for the first point of this map. Domination looks to be their strong suit, as despite the player advantage, Central Buck South stay composed for a game win on Hell's Haven.
On the Super Soldier Factory of all places, so we go over to the Frozen Airfield, right? And my biggest gripe about Hell's Heaven and why I don't really like it as much as I like Krakoa, for example, even Royal Palaces to an extent, I'm okay with. I don't like Hell's Heaven because it moves so much. The map completely shifts right under your feet more often than not that you're not really expecting a lot of times. And there are cues, you know, I believe at the 50% or 60% completion rate, the map starts to move around a little bit here. However, Central Buck South, with only 5 players, they are the ones in the lead right now, forcing Ferndale to go to a, well, at the moment, a 5 Vanguard roster here with just Madek on this Rocket Raccoon, using that, of course, BRB machine and the CYA machine only. I'm not sure it's going to have all that much fruition here. The Ferndale roster or characters so far are very self-sufficient to an extent, but we got to see how this works, especially as they are really running out on 5 Vanguards and 1 strategist.
Central Buck South currently maintaining their composure in game one with a undeniable dominant force, but it will be the Strange bringing in Blaze to take a double kill, forcing their opposition into a weak position as the Groot entangled within thorns. It will be Snapthorn to keep the aggression up. Blaze finds a triple, going to be going aggressive as they keep this awake. It's their game to play, it's their game to win as Ferndale High School forced back into the spawns.
And you can only do so much with 5 Vanguards, right? You don't have anyone to consistently shoot down this Iron Man. You don't have someone to consistently check your strategist as well, right? So it's more difficult for Ferndale to continue to play into someone like an Iron Man, even any of the flyers. In fact, more so. Look at this. You see, in the Mad Lag goes on the Mad Lag, excuse me, goes right into the 1v5, pretty much by themselves, and then suddenly you're no longer in that Hulk form. You're back in Bruce Banner form, and then you have to back up immediately again. They need at least 2 strategists to make this extra Vanguard line work.
Luck South gonna be getting back on into the fray. Ferndale swapping over the Hulk, gonna come into the action. We will be seeing the Venom and Hulk working in unison, possibly to make some kind of extraterrestrial play, but right now it will be Central Buck South, specifically Arteme, having that ultimate piled up, looking to drop it in, but it will be Maddox taking one. Arteme shuts him down for the Jeff on Jeff action. Central Buck South takes an aggressive stance as Arteme backing up a little bit, conceding the aggression, still having the ult in hand, looking to get a little bit of long range damage, but Fireball V-Dub going on in, takes the kill. The Dr. Stone Strange down, and now Ferndale going to be back on into a pretty rough spot as this point gets captured.
And funnily enough, during that fight there, Ferndale did flip the point kind of under the noses of Central Buck South. They will get the It's Jeff, and they will actually be able to get a stagger onto not just Astra, but also onto this Hulk, who's trying to at least find somebody. Skull Ripper, I think, was trying to proc a portal there, and of course, nobody was able to protect their Doctor Strange, so Snapthorn got the easiest Pulsar Cannon in the world, and on top of that, another stagger onto the Hulk, finally.
Buck South currently in a very, very strong position as we look towards the Magneto getting taken down for their bearings as the Quickster comes into the action. Double kill for the Quickster. Gonna be able to make it a triple. The Thing is the next on the chopping block as Blaze takes them for a walk down Death's lane. As now 87% has been built up. CB South on the cusp of a victory.
And they're gonna get it in about, what, 5 more percent? That's all they need to full cap the second objective of Hell's Heaven. The It's Jeff comes through, finds just the Hulk, but that's all that you need. No one is able to touch that point. No one is able to go against the 5 forces from Central Buck South, as Ferndale do go down in the series so far. Down 1, but never the end of it all quite yet. Central Buck South have considered themselves at match point so far, but things can always change, as we now are not only going to get the 6th player in the lobby here for Central Buck South, but we are also going over to Convergence.
I mean, not to kind of, be harsh, but in my opinion, Monteneva, something that we're going to be looking towards as a possibility is what is the possibility that CB South thought, okay, this game might be a little bit closer than we would have imagined, and so we're going to say, yes, we're going to get our 6th player in at the end of the game, and then once we get them in, then we're going to, we're going to have that in, but we're going to expect this game to take, 10, 15 minutes. That did not happen. That game was a very done and dusted situation, as CB South, despite the player disadvantage, they had a lot of firepower within this roster, and it certainly just seemed to be going their way for the entirety of this this team. But we'll see what they can get done on map number 2, as it will be Ferndale's choice, so they get that home turf advantage.
Yeah, they sure will. And again, going to Convergence, the map pool is limited in just a Central Park, the Hall of the Jaleo, or the Symbiotic Surface. So the new map, the Heart of Heaven, is not available in the map pool quite yet. I hope it's available for playoffs in just a couple of weeks, though, because it's a very pretty map. Very, very nice to play on. Especially you have a good Iron Fist, you have a good Daredevil as well. Very fun map to play on. But either way, Ferndale, as you mentioned, they have the pick here. They have the opportunity to go wherever they want, really, for this Convergence map. And I think with the playstyle they're going for, which is kind of heavy on shields, heavy on this Hulk as well, albeit they also played every Vanguard just now in the last round, we could definitely see them maybe want to go over to a Symbiotic Surface, maybe even the Hall of the Jalea. I'm not entirely confident that going to the Central Park map here would be beneficial, because you're gonna likely face back into that Iron Man, you're gonna face back into a Spider-Man, you're gonna face into those spam kind of characters that do very well on that nice long first point of Central Park. So I think Ferndale maybe have the work cut out for them if they go to any of the other 2 I had mentioned.
And we are going to be seeing CB South possibly getting that 6th player into this series. So whether or not they're going to be subbing somebody out, whether or not they keep this roster the same, we will have to wait and see. Obviously, though, the just general firepower this team possesses, we've seen the CB South roster in each and every esport, whether it's Marvel Rivals, Valorant, Overwatch, Fortnite, or their coveted Valorant team. Each and every one has been extremely dominant. We see these players starting to mesh on the Marvel Rivals team. Obviously, you look towards Arteme, somebody who has been top 500 in Valorant. You look towards the Quickster, somebody who's been top 500 in Overwatch. Both these players making their adaptations on different esports into Marvel Rivals. This is why I love Marvel Rivals so much, Motniva, because it allows for so much just kind of creativity. You take things you've learned from other esports, you take the kind of hit scan potential to be able to find that early damage with those great snipes to the head, and then you take the kind of positioning you need to learn as a tank player. These are the adaptations, and Marvel Rivals just does it perfectly. So it certainly seems as if the just kind of general talent that's flourishing within this roster is going to be able to carry them for a lot of wins within this PIEA season.
I mean, literally in our Marvel Rivals Ignite, series that just happened in Atlanta